All right. How's everybody doing tonight? Oh, that's a little weak in the house. I need more than that. How's everybody doing tonight? Good. All right. I feel the energy. Look here, I know there's going to be some interesting questions when we're done here. This night is all about you all. So there's a lot of questions that we had that were coming in from some of the students that were studious and doing their homework and submitted it before the panel. But what I hope to do is get a lot of questions from the people in the live audience tonight. But before we get started, we got a packed panel up here, as you can see. Folks with different backgrounds. Not everyone grew up as a scientist, but they all work in this wonderful, beautiful industry that we work in. But before that, a little bit about myself. I've been in the biotechnology industry. My name is Dr. Aubrey Watkins for 28 years. I'm a biochemist by training. I've got a master's in pharmacology. I've got a PhD in molecular pharmacology and structural biology. And I do mergers and acquisitions now. And that's a conversation for another day. All right? Thank you very much. So as I look to my left here, we're going to start out and we're going to go from right to the left. Got Dr. Carlton Barber, who's actually a colleague of mine, who's going to spend a few minutes telling you about himself, and then we'll pass the mic.
I wasn't aware that I was going to talk about myself, but okay. My name is Carlton Barber. I am a lead scientist at Emergent. We do vaccine development and manufacturing. If you know about Narcan, you know about us. If you know about the anthrax scare and the need for a vaccine for that, then you know about us as well. I've been in industry maybe 31 years, something like that. First in the specialty chemical industry when I came out of graduate school as an analytical chemist. And now in the biotech industry. I spent about a dozen years in the pharmacy industry, pharmaceuticals. I do analytical work. I do analytical chemistry. So my interest is in testing materials and developing test methods and procedures to make sure that all the materials that we make are what they're supposed to be so they can do what they're supposed to do. So that's me.
Dr. Barber, thank you. Jeff, next up.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Hung. I'm a founder and the CEO of Nowgene, a Maryland-based company. So I'm a geneticist by training, and I'm an entrepreneur by practice. So I have brought two companies to merger acquisition and one company to IPO. And I'm on to my fourth company, and Lord's willing, it will be successful. Happy to participate in this event and look forward to your questions. So my table 5, I have 2 presentations. One is how do you know that you are fit for life science, biomedical industry. The second presentation is how can you succeed in life science, biomedical industry. So after the career panel, there will be more presentations. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on down the line, Dr. Finn.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Fen Chen. I'm a professor at the Institute of Marine and Environmental Technology. It's part of the University of Maryland Center for Environmental Science. So my research area is marine microbiology, and I also do a lot of microbial ecology. I study most things are very small, so you have to see them under the microscope. So viruses, bacteria, phytoplankton. So I'm interested in how these microorganisms interact each other in the aquatic environments such as Chesapeake Bay, and study their evolution, their diversity, and their biogeochemical significance. So at IMET, we have research that, we have faculty doing different kind of research, including aquaculture, environmental remediation, human health related issues. If you are interested to learn more about this, please stop by the table 15. I can talk to you more about that. So in the past, I have provided a lot of internship to high school students. So that's why I'm interested to come here to share with you my experience with high school students. I have trained more than 30 high school students in my lab in the past 20 years. Basically, I'm just an educator.
Is anybody fascinated with climate change? Does anybody think about that? You pay attention to what it's doing to the world? Oh, man, the hands are going up. You want to make sure you spend some time when you have after this panel with Dr. Chen. Understand what's happening with that Chesapeake and that gym in our backyard and what he does around that. All right, next up.
Hello, my name's Adeze Guatu. I work at the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research, or RARE for short. So I am originally trained as a neuroscience, behavioral neuroscience. I worked with human subjects, specifically children, looking at emotion processing and cognitive development. And I got my degree at University of Massachusetts Amherst recently in 2022, so a couple months ago. So I'm newly minted. So if you want to talk about graduate school and all that stuff, it's fresh in my mind. So I recently started my position at Walter Reed, and I'm a National Academies Fellow. And basically what I do at Walter Reed is I help design, implement, and evaluate research or science outreach programs. So most of our programs focus on STEM outreach programs and activities. Some of you guys were at my table over there when we do a lot of science activities with middle school and high school students. We also do fellowship programs, and we try to match students with certain research labs at RARE so they can get firsthand experience working in the laboratory. And basically what we are really trying to do is basically, make STEM fields and STEM opportunities more accessible to different populations, specifically underserved populations. And we want to really try to work to make that pipeline better. So how can we make more opportunities for students like you who are interested in science and actually reach to the careers and reach the trajectory where you need to go? So that's what we do at RARE, at the Science Education and Fellowship Program Department.
So Dr. Guatu, does newly minted mean I'm the youngest one on the panel? No. All right. For anybody thinking about a STEM career, basically what that means is she's not that far removed from you. So she probably graduated, I won't say exactly how long ago, but not that many years ago. So if you have any questions about that path, when you move on from high school to become a scientist, make sure you talk to her. But we got one of your own coming up next.
Hello. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Andrea Christmas. I graduated from Northwest in 2014, so not too long ago. Go Jags. I have a biology degree from Hood College in Frederick, and currently I work at AstraZeneca as a scientist. I work in oncology, so specifically in the tumor-targeted delivery department. So I work on specifically in the ADC portfolio team, specifically on heme malignancies. So antibody-drug conjugates are a new technology to specifically target cancer cells without targeting healthy cells. So right now I'm actually working on a multiple myeloma. And then currently I'm also in grad school while working full-time at Mount St. Mary's University in the Biotech and Management program. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Thank you, Andrea. Next up.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maya Thompson. I'm going to apologize in advance to the people that have met me twice before because now you have to hear my spiel again. But I'm glad to be back. So again, my name is Maya Thompson. My background is actually in business and finance. I'm currently in grad school for my MBA, and I work full-time at Millipore Sigma. I'm a part of the Flex team, so basically I'm deployed to labs that need my help the most. So during the day, I work in an analytical chemistry lab, basically testing test articles from different clients, doing pH, osmo, closed container integrity, dynamic light scattering, just really cool stuff. And then at night, I work in the virology in vitro lab. And then I'm also a technical trainer, so I have to train all the onboarded people on aseptic techniques so that they can start working in the BSCs. But yeah. Do I have anything? I went to school at Mount St. Mary's, actually, and then I transferred to the University of Maryland Global Campus once I actually figured out what I wanted to do. A lot of people think, oh, you're in business school, you be an entrepreneur, but realistically, I am the business, and I carry myself that way. So...
Multi-talented.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I do a lot at work, so if you have any questions about like what my day-to-day is like, because it is very different every day, please feel free to come chat with me.
She's very busy, y'all.
All right. Hello. My name is Andrew House. I am a lab operations director at Millipore Sigma as well. So our labs are responsible for safety testing of biological pharmaceuticals. Specifically, my labs look for viral and microbiology contaminants. Hello again to all the students from Northwest. This is like the third time they've heard this too. So career-wise, I've been with the same company for 22 years in a couple different locations. Actually, I spent 16 years in Texas as originally a molecular biologist. Then I moved into solid phase synthesis chemistry. So shout out to all the chemists in the room. And then along the way, moved into leadership, got an MBA, specialized actually in finance as well. And then about 6 years ago, had a chance to move up to Rockville and to the position I'm in now. And I think that's about it. Yeah.
So let's get into it. We got a star-studded panel up here, and we'll start with probably a question that's burning in the crowd. Not everybody has a high school internship program, but let's just assume for the sake of the night, you all do. All the companies you work at have a program. What qualifications would anybody in the audience here tonight need if they wanted to have an internship at your company? You can just raise your hand, or you can just start at the end and go down the line, but give us some insight. Share some nuggets. Yep, the question is, what qualifications would you need to apply for an internship?
Hi, it's me again. So for our internship program, you do have to be 18 plus just because of the nature of the work that we're doing in the labs. But aside from that, we're looking for people that are in school and want to do like a summer internship. We do have that summer internship program. Yeah, I'm sorry. You basically have to be 18 plus and in school. Am I missing something?
Yeah, so let's pretend that they all are 18 and you're in the lab.
Oh.
What kind of qualifications are you looking for?
Okay. So, to be honest, I can't really answer that because I feel like in college, especially for me, like I didn't know exactly what I was going to be doing. So some people that might come into the internship might not exactly know what they want to do. So this is why I always sell the flex team because with the flex team, there's so many different things that you could do.
Because I'm curious, and Jeff will come to you next. Flex team means there's different opportunities if they wanted to work at your company, that right out of high school, not knowing what you want to do, there's something they can do in your company and you'll find something for them to do.
Yes. So when I first started with the company, I only had 4 weeks of biotech experience. I went to Montgomery College and did a 4-week biotech boot camp. So I literally only had like 4 weeks of cell culture experience. I originally started out in cell banking, which is like GMP, super strict. You have to wear like hazmat, gowning type deal. And then I switched to the flex team. And it's honestly been a dream. I feel like there's endless opportunities available to me. I've been deployed to 4 labs so far. So if you do end up at Millipore Sigma, I would highly suggest looking for a position on the flex team if you're not 100% sure what lab you want to go into, because we have so many different labs: microbiology, bacteriology, viral clearance, virology, analytical, product characterization. There's so many opportunities that you can experience.
I heard you say Montgomery College. I'm putting a plug in for Lori Kelman, who is here tonight, who runs that program over there. So you all just heard her say she came right off of 4 weeks of training at Montgomery College. The person who is everything to be in terms of training people is in the house tonight. So make sure you guys stop by that table. So, Jeff, you want to go ahead? I think you had something to say on that question.
Yes, regarding the interns. So I'm not an HR person, so I think for high schoolers, I have actually mentored a few in the company during the past years, mainly on a volunteer basis. The main reason is for us to train them. I think the quality we're looking for is hardworking. And because really the internship 2 months, we don't really look for any return in that you can do meaningful work. But we do ask that you are accountable to be there, because your mentors, they put in the time to train you. And then if you reciprocate with hard work, that will bring them a lot of satisfaction. Because we hire you as interns, or we recruit you as interns because we want to invest in you. So that's, I think, one thing.
Hard work is what I heard, Dr. Hung. You come with a hard work ethic, you got a chance to work with you. Good. Go ahead, Dr. James.
Yeah, I want to just add a little bit to what Jed just said. To me, I will be is the interest. Your interest and your motivation is very important. So usually, for me to interact with high school students, usually start with your teacher or your program coordinators. They contact the university professor, the lab, and then we interview the students to see, what students' interest is, or what is students' interest in. So, and then there will be an interview, and so hard working definitely. And then if you have some earlier trainings through your biotech program, that definitely is a plus. If you come to the lab, you know how to do DNA extraction, you know how to do PCR, that definitely is a plus.
Thank you. Dr. Barber, I see you over there raising your hand. Can you talk a little bit more about those qualifications we're just hearing about that are required to get an internship?
So the one thing that crossed my mind is his interest. I've had interns throughout my career, and the interns that were the most successful were the ones that were interested, that when lunchtime came, they put lunch off because they wanted to learn something else and do something else. And it's right that if you take an internship, companies not necessarily thinking that you're going to discover something for them. They're investing in you and hoping that you will, in turn, take the time, show the interest, do the work, and hopefully at the end of your internship be able to then go out and tell folks about the interesting things that you did and how it fits into the larger picture.
Fantastic, fantastic. Let's take some questions from the audience. I saw a bunch of hands go up a little while ago. Who's out there curious and brave enough to ask the first question? Oh, there we go over there. I was about to pick somebody, so I'm glad you raised your hand. Hard time hearing you. I'm going to have you ask that question one more time, but do it in the mic.
Oh, God. So I wonder, what is the minimum age you guys require for an internship job or like opportunity for that?
Great question. Who wants to take that one? What's the minimum age?
I'll speak of my experience. So again, I'm not an HR specialist, so don't quote me on the regulation. But we did recruit high school intern. I believe at that time they are volunteers. They are not paid. So we recruit them to train them on certain things. So at least I think we had a marketing intern. We had a lab intern, all from high school. Yeah, so I think if pay is not involved, then I think volunteering, I don't think there's a age limit. That's my experience.
What are the most common positions that people from high school end up taking for internships? If anybody can take this question, but just give us a sense of what some of those roles are. Are they all technical? Are they business? Are they office jobs? What kind of things can the students in the room aspire to do if they're a junior or a senior and they've got free time this upcoming summer?
I'm hesitating because this is from experience as opposed to Emergent doesn't have internships to offer this summer. So I want to be clear on that this is experience as opposed to actual. In my experience, what we tried to do is get people into the laboratory as soon as possible. There's lots of training, there's lots of safety training that has to happen before someone can actually go to the bench and do something, and that must be done first. That might take a week or two for someone to read all the things and qualify on all the things they need to do in order to actually go into the lab and do something. But then we want you in the lab, quote unquote, getting your hands dirty, doing things, so that whatever skill set you came in with, you can go out with a much improved skill set. So that's the goal.
Thank you, Dr. Barber. Yes, lady? Let me get you the microphone.
You said you only accepted people who are experienced, so you only take internships from people who have, like, experience doing what you do?
You got the next question. So that's a great question. Some companies do, in reality, offer internships. Others don't. The academic institutions in the area offer them. Many of the federal labs offer internships at the high school level. The county itself also runs a program called the Summer Rise program, where students are placed out into different organizations that raise their hand. We may not all have them here represented on the panel, but they are there, and we can talk a little bit more about that. What I would be saying to the juniors and to the seniors, those of you who are going to be looking for letters of recommendation, if you think you have an interest in college and going on and getting a bachelor's or master's degree in something biological sciences related, then you want to think about what are those options that are available to me. So there's plenty of resources that we can steer you in that direction. But what I would say is understand when and where you are in your overall program. If you are in Avi or Dr. Silber's biotechnology program and you've got some exposure to the lab, then you're right. You're ready. You've got hands-on training. So all you need is the will and the desire to want to do it, and there's going to be something available for you. Got it?
So, Professor Fing Chin, if I wanted to volunteer right now for any position, what's the earliest I could start?
Actually, I just try to echo to Andrew's question. I think we do have an age limit starting at 17, but I need to double check with our HR. So if you're 17, you can come to the lab. There'll be some liability issues that the paperwork they have to go through with HR. So yeah, you can start it when you get to that level. So
great.
Does that answer your question?
So how many people had a chance to visit the tables that are around that perimeter? Did everybody get to meet and speak with somebody at the tables? Yep. You all have questions, still have questions for some of the people? I know you got some questions you want to ask them, but before we go back to that, who's got a question for the people that were at the table? Perhaps the panel can open your eyes to what it is they may give you by way of an answer. I saw a couple hands go up. Yep. Nope. No questions? Here you go.
Ms. Thompson, you are in the ortho, like, what is it, orthology? Like,
You can ask her.
In vitro virology.
Cancer, like cancer treatment, right? Or
not quite. So what we do in vitro, we do a lot of work in plates, basically, which is kind of what in vitro means. So basically, we use like client test articles, and we have like a negative control side, a positive control side. The positive control side is the coolest because that's when you get to actually use the viruses, and the idea is to make sure that there's cytopathic effects within those cells because that's the positive control side. But realistically, what the goal of in vitro is, like the NC side, any test article we use from a client, we want to make sure that their product is not affecting the cell lines in any way, make sure that there's no active viruses in that test article so that it can go through to the next phase. So is that what you're asking?
So he might not know exactly what he's asking, but if you can help us scientists even understand, are you working in an area where you're making sure there are no pathogens or anything infecting the cells that you're working with so they're safe?
Yes.
Oh.
I thought it was like something related to cancer.
Yeah. So he wanted to know who's working in a certain therapeutic disease area, and I think he thought you were working in oncology.
No, that was not good.
Dr. Guado and Andrea is working in oncology. So, Andrea, you want to talk a little bit more about what you've done and kind of just raise it up a little bit?
So I guess just to start, hello? I guess just to start, so I started as a lab technician and I moved my way up to scientist in oncology. So I am in early oncology, so I'm in discovery. So what we do is we find a target that on the cell surface of cancer cells that we want to specifically target with an ADC drug. So what we do is develop ADCs. An ADC is an antibody conjugated to a warhead or a chemo drug, and that will specifically bind to that antigen or receptor that we see that is expressed on cancer.
So, Andrew, stop right there. That's some cool stuff.
Yeah.
It might have flew over our head, but it's kind of real cool. It's like taking a missile, a real warhead, and attaching something to it that when it gets to its destination, it just blows this stuff wide up, all over.
So it actually, physically blows up.
Well, kind of. When that ADC binds to that cell, it's internalized, and when it reaches the lysosome, that's when that warhead is released. That linker that links that warhead to the antibody will be cleaved, and that's what will mediate cell death. Basically, yeah, kind of like that.
Man, you're
so,
dead bang on, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
let's make it real to them. That is the most important thing. All we talk about when we talk about biology in the biological world are physical things that come into contact. The only difference is it's on a molecular micro level and we can't see it. But otherwise, everything is something's touching something, just like a handshake. And if you can't touch it, nothing's going to happen to it. Nothing magically will happen with any drug, any treatment, any vaccine, any therapy. If you don't have something touching something, nothing happens.
So yeah, that's the goal, right? So the department that I'm in is tumor target delivery, and traditional chemotherapy for cancer patients, sometimes you end up killing healthy cells, and this really shows specificity to those cancer cells so that you don't target those healthy cells. Well, ideally, that's what you want. So that's how you would kill them. Once that antibody drug conjugate binds to that cell through that receptor that you are specifically targeting, then it's internalized and it kills that cell. And it's just really cool.
Yes.
I have to say that I never thought that I would ever be in a field like this.
Yes.
After graduating from Northwest.
That's super cool.
Looking down this path, be somebody that's curious, be somebody that is willing to learn more and more. You guys, once you learn more, you build your techniques, that's what will make somebody a good scientist or anybody that wants to be in the scientific field.
What's the progress on this treatment? When are we going to see it used for the public?
So currently, off the top of my head, I think there's around 12 that are approved. So it's a fairly new technology. I think it's only around a little over 10 years probably. So it is used in the clinic, and doctor uses it for treatment. So it is out there. There's a bunch of companies that do have ADCs that are approved, and AstraZeneca just approved one. I think it's called Enhertu. So yeah, so it's out there. People use it.
Assuming that you meet all the age requirements, what hands-on experience or projects does everyone offer?
I can speak on a few real-life experience projects that were actually offered to high school interns. The first one, the marketing intern we offered was setting up a Facebook page for the company, and then try to grow the fan base. Because that time, we think the best person to run that program will be a high schooler, because every other people are not on the Facebook. So Yeah, I think it's at that point, probably almost like 10 years ago, it was very new. And I think so that's one example. And the other example is to do a website. And so those kind of self-packaged nugget, not too big project, and you can do it, and I think exercise your creativity. So that's another one. I think the lab works, and that needs to be closely supervised. I also have a couple. Yeah.
So I've been trying to message my experts. So for our internship positions available to high school students, is it all the labs that we're looking at right now, or are we selecting specific ones? Like what? Okay. Okay, I can talk about those because I know about those. Okay. Okay, so, all right. So, thank you. I'm really glad Ashley is here. She knows a whole lot more than I do. So, virology so you would learn about cell culture, mammalian cell culture. You would learn about aseptic techniques. Actually, some of the stuff that Maya was talking about, working in plates, working in that would be virology. Microbiology, we're looking at more bacterial, fungal contaminants, and so we learn more about those techniques that would go into that. Again, aseptic techniques. Immunology, you might dabble in ELISAs or, mass spec, right. Sorry, I get really excited. Flow cytometry. And then we also have positions outside the lab. So communications it's an important part of our organization. So communications, internships. I missed one. Operational excellence. Oh my gosh. Okay, so OpEx it's a really cool field. So when you get into business, like people get really into their fields, they get stuck in science, and sometimes they get in their science brains and they can't look outside of that box a little bit. So you bring in someone who's in operational excellence, and they're all about, okay, what's working for you, what's broken, and you work with them, and they get to break things down and make things better. So it's all about continuous improvement. It's a really great field. You can find a job anywhere if you're into OpEx. So those are just some of... Biostat, really? Oh, okay, that's right. Okay. This is great. Also, we have a digitalization and automation group. That's the future of our organization, is looking for ways that we can scale up without having people working 24/7. So automation is a big part of that, and so there's a data aspect that's critical to that. So also that would be one of the spots. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. You know what that brings to mind? Let me tell you all something. There's a place in the biotechnology and pharmaceutical industry for everyone. It doesn't matter if you want to be a science major or not. You could be a business major, a computer scientist, a salesperson. There is very few industries that have room for everybody that majors in any profession, any degree you can think of. That's part of the lure. That's what attracted me. It's one of the most complicated things you could ever embark to do, but it's also welcoming for any and everybody who has skills. If you're a visual communications person, a graphic artist, a former teacher, a current teacher, there's training groups. People do these manufacturing things. You hear all this fancy language. GMP manufacturing, aseptic techniques. There are a lot of things that we do over and over again that are routine, but they have to be done that way so that when we buy them in CVS or Walgreens, it's safe. So I want to demystify the industry to the extent that what I'll say is, how many people speak a second language? Speak more than one language? What I used to say when I was learning biochemistry, I was simply learning another language. So when you hear a lot of the jargon in science, don't be intimidated, right? That's one of the biggest pet peeves that I had growing up. One of my jobs that I do now, working on the mergers and acquisition team, I work with a lot of senior leaders who aren't scientists, but they're making the decisions about where the money gets invested. And guess what? They need to understand. So I'm translating. That's all I'm really doing. I haven't touched a pipette and worked in a lab in 15 years. But there's a lot of translation. So the message is there is a lot of room for everybody under the tent. to work in and have a career in the pharmaceutical industry, even if you don't want to be a PhD scientist or an MD. Consider that, because I know there are quite a few juniors and seniors in the room. Okay. So we will bring it to a close. Dr. Silber, Avi, where are you in the room? I think we've overrun by a few minutes, but thank you all for your time, for participating on our panel. Round of applause for our panel. And hats off to you all, and have a good rest of the evening.
So we're going to proceed to our third tabling. So if you guys want to return to the tables, just a quick announcement to exhibitors. We have an internship coordinator here at Northwest. That's Mr. Connor Prater. So he's been coming around to just make sure we have the best contact on file. And in the future, for seniors who are entering into their senior and doing internships, he's the person that coordinates that. So students, if you don't know him,